This is a story about getting your power back without taking anyone else's away.
Many of us spend our days trying to keep everyone around us happy. We manage moods, smooth conflicts, and try to prevent disappointments before they happen. It's generous, and it's exhausting. The let them theory invites you to take a different path. Instead of trying to shape other people's choices, we accept that they will do what they do, and we choose how to respond. When we do this, we recover our energy, clarity, and calm. This approach was developed and popularized by Mel Robbins. It blends everyday wisdom with insights from psychology and philosophy. It has helped many people step out of the drama triangle of control, rescue, and resentment, and step into a steadier kind of strength. At the heart of this method are two small phrases with big impact. The first phrase is, let them. When someone acts in a way you don't like, your instinct is to lean in, explain, persuade, or fix the situation. Maybe a colleague overlooks your effort. Maybe a friend forgets to invite you. Maybe a loved one chooses differently than you hoped. Let them asks you to pause and notice the boundary between what is yours and what is theirs. It doesn't mean you agree with them. It doesn't mean you approve. It doesn't mean you give up. It means you stop spending your life trying to control what you cannot control. The second phrase is let me. This phrase turns your attention back to the only true instrument you hold, which is your own choices. Let me is the bridge from reaction to intention. Let me breathe. Let me clarify what I value. Let me take the next constructive step that is within my control. Together, these phrases become a practice. They become a way to move from tension to traction.
To understand why this matters, it helps to know a little about your brain. When you're under stress, the emotional alarm system deep in your brain surges. It prepares you to fight, flee, or freeze. This reaction is automatic and useful when you're in actual danger. But in everyday life, it can flood your mind with worry about what others think and how to keep everything under control. When that alarm blares, your thinking narrows. You replay conversations over and over. You write scripts in your head. You try to predict and manage every possible reaction. Over time, that state can become a habit. It leaves you tired and preoccupied. The let them theory calms that alarm by asking a short, liberating question. What here is not mine to control? With that shift, the more thoughtful part of your mind comes back online, and your options widen. You can speak honestly without pleading. You can choose boundaries without bitterness. You can act on what you value instead of chasing what you fear. Consider your family, that tender place where love and history mingle. Families are living webs. When you tug one strand, the whole net moves. When you change by saying no to a recurring obligation, or by setting a new limit around money or time, or by asking to be treated with respect, others may feel it as a jolt. They might protest. They might grow quiet. They might bring up the past. The let them approach doesn't minimize anyone's feelings. It honors them. Let them have their reactions. And then, let me hold my value. One helpful tool here is something called frame of reference. This is a reminder that each person's response makes sense inside the story of their life. You don't have to agree to acknowledge that context. Seeing through another lens can lower the temperature of a moment and make space for compassion alongside firmness. You can say, I hear you, while still saying, this is what I will do, and mean both.
Friendship in adulthood changes shape. After school ends, people scatter, both geographically and emotionally. Schedules tighten, responsibilities grow. The effortless closeness of earlier years can fade. When you discover friends traveled without you, or when texts go unanswered, the pang is real. Let them invites you to release the detective work about motives and meaning. Maybe proximity shifted, maybe timing did, maybe the energy between you needs rest. Then let me asks what you want to cultivate now. Perhaps you send a warm note with no edge to it. Perhaps you initiate small, regular touch points. Perhaps you invest in new connections by going first. You learn names at the cafe. You ask a neighbor about their day. You show gentle curiosity without expecting immediate intimacy. Friendship grows from repeated hours of kind, low-pressure presence. When you give it a year rather than a week, roots can form. Workplaces often tempt us into cycles of resentment. You deliver excellence, and a promotion doesn't come. A peer takes credit. A manager cancels one-on-ones. Without a boundary, frustration metastasizes into a story about your worth. Let them reframes the scene. Let them be who they are right now, whether they're skilled or scattered, supportive or not. Then ask, let me do what is in my control. That might mean documenting your wins. It might mean seeking stretch projects. It might mean finding mentors beyond your team, or quietly preparing for a move that honors your goals. You can pair confident requests with a plan that doesn't require any single person's permission. This is not denial. It's disciplined stewardship of your energy. You stop pouring power into someone else's choices and start building the platform beneath your own feet.
Loving relationships bring their own learning. In dating, it's easy to chase potential. You tell yourself a story about what could be, if only. Let them invites you to watch behavior, not promises. If someone keeps you guessing, let them show you who they are. Then, let me becomes a compass. Let me be honest about the kind of partnership I'm ready to give and receive. Let me step away from dynamics that shrink me. Let me speak clearly about what commitment looks like in practice. In ongoing relationships, pressure often backfires. The more we push a partner to change, the more they may protect their agency by resisting. A gentler alternative is something called the ABC loop. You begin with a real apology for any pushing or nagging and ask open questions. Then you back off to remove pressure. And when progress appears, even in inches, you celebrate it while quietly modeling the same change yourself. It's not a guarantee. It's an environment in which change is likelier because dignity is intact. Boundaries sometimes get confused with coldness, but in truth, they make closeness possible. Supporting someone you love is not the same as rescuing them from the consequences of their choices. If a friend is struggling with money, for instance, unconditional cash might unintentionally strengthen a pattern. A boundary could sound like love with structure. You might say, I'm here to talk, to help you find resources, and to cheer you on. I'm not able to fund this, but I will stand beside you while you take the steps you choose. The let them theory holds a compassionate paradox. People grow when we stop doing their growing for them. When they are allowed to feel the weight of their choices, they are also allowed to feel their own strength. Throughout this practice, emotions will rise and fall like waves. You'll feel a sharp sting of exclusion, a flush of anger, a knot of fear. You don't need to wrestle these feelings into silence, and you don't need to broadcast them either. Let them move through. Most emotions crest and ebb if we neither fuel nor fight them. Then choose your let me step from a steadier place. Let me take a walk. Let me write a draft message and sleep on it. Let me ask for a conversation in person, where tone and care can be felt. Let me notice what stays true for me tomorrow morning, not just tonight.
If you find yourself checking your phone for proof that you matter, or replaying how to say something so the other person reacts just right, this framework offers a reset. You can remind yourself that your value isn't decided in someone else's mind. Their thoughts are theirs, and they change like weather. You can choose your climate. You can choose honesty, kindness, and a plan that aligns with your values. Then you can act. You can block time for what nourishes you. You can invest in skills that open options. You can listen more than you lecture. You can step back where entanglement used to be. This is not about abandonment, indifference, or spiritual bypassing. It doesn't ask you to tolerate harm or to swallow your truth. In fact, it calls you to tell the truth more cleanly. You can say, this works for me, that does not. It honors your safety and well-being and encourages you to seek professional support when challenges exceed what self-help can hold. Let them reduces the static that makes every conversation a fight. Let me ensures you still move with integrity in a direction you respect. Remember, too, that comparison is a thief with a friendly face. It seems like motivation, but it often steals attention from what is yours to build. When you see someone thriving, let them celebrate their wins in their way. Let me learn from it. What exactly inspires you? Is it their craft, their consistency, their community? Which of those can you practice this week? Jealousy, when reframed, can be a teacher pointing you toward your own unlived desire. Let it be a compass, not a cage.
So how do you start? Today, choose one moment to practice. When the group chat spins plans you can't make, let them gather. Let me offer a warm response and bow out without apology. When a relative gives unasked advice, let them have their perspective. Let me say, thanks, I'll think about it, and then think about it as much or as little as I wish. When a manager drifts, let them drift. Let me document my progress, ask for clarity, and if needed, find a current that carries me forward. The image I return to is the sky. People's moods, politics, habits, and hopes move across our days like weather. Sometimes bright, sometimes gusty, sometimes overcast, sometimes clearing. We do not command the clouds, but we can choose our route, our jacket, our companions, and our pace. Let them is the acceptance that the sky will be the sky. Let me is the decision to walk anyway, to bring an umbrella, to call a friend, to make camp where there is shelter and joy. The practice won't make life easy, but it will make you less at the mercy of every breeze.
You deserve a life where your energy is invested where it returns meaning. You deserve to invest in your character, your craft, your care for the people who meet you in the middle. You deserve relationships that are clearer because you stop overmanaging and start communicating. You deserve the relief of no longer auditioning for approval you already own. That is the quiet gift of these two phrases. Let them, let me. And then, step by step, let's see what you build.